Welcome back to another episode of the Be the CEO of Your Life and Business podcast. We are so excited to be joining you this week and sharing with you our top tools that we use for our business. Like we talk so much about, I think, the big picture mindset of being a business owner, or like, how to be a good leader and how to create a great culture for your team. But sometimes I think people just need like that good old fashioned advice of what tools do you use and like what things are you using in your business that really help it, continue day to day as an operations level, right?
Yeah. And there are certain, programs that we use every day, certain software that gets us through our day to day, that we use for everything. We have a certain billing software that we use. We have what's the name? Like, what kind of phone system do we have?
It's like an IP, like internet-based phone system.
Right. So our phone system, we can access from anywhere. We have digital business cards. Obviously, shared office space is a huge thing for us. So we'll touch on that. Our outsourcing our marketing and our like where we maintain our files.
Right.
So those are the topics we're going to touch on today.
So the first is actually a tool that we've been using for, oh my gosh, it's been almost 6 years.
2018, right?
Yeah. So it's been almost 6 years. It's this platform called Clio. We use this platform for really everything relating to clients and to our case management, and also to keeping track of our time on there. As attorneys, it's really important, if you do any kind of billable work, to have a place where you're recording all of your time and you're keeping it somewhere so that you can then present it to your clients for billing purposes. But this tool is so great. It has so many features. And by the way, we're not sponsored by these folks. Like,
we just love them.
We just love them and we want to talk about them. But the reason that we love this so much is because we came from old school timesheets where we had to either handwrite or type up timesheets that then had to get submitted. And
I can't believe that was even a thing.
That was a thing.
Crazy.
And I will tell you that I have like a trigger or PTSD, because there were plenty of times when I was like a little legal intern at our former office before I graduated law school, where I would get stacks of timesheets to enter. And I would get a deadline of like, you need to enter these by, Thursday morning. And I remember one night I was up until 3:30 in the morning.
I remember that.
Entering time. And then those bills may or may not have gone out. So I'm like a little peeved when it comes to timesheets. Sometimes you got to use them if you have nothing else to like record it, but like you could record things like that on your phone or on a piece of paper anywhere, but it has to get tracked somewhere so that it could then be used for purposes of billing your clients if it's a billable arrangement. And we just love this program so much because it does have so many features from like a case management perspective, where long gone are the days where you have to bring a physical Redwell into court, because this system actually allows you to use like document uploads, and you can, have secure messages with your clients. And it's just a really robust tool that we probably aren't even maximizing like the use of it. But we really do love it.
But we're trying to maximize it.
Yeah.
Like, one thing I love about it is that it has something, you have each of your matters in there for any practice area. So for us, because our roots are in litigation, we are just used to keeping track of our time, because we would bill by, a tenth of an hour or whatever. So, we, even on my real estate files, sometimes I will put, even though it's like a flat fee,
right,
I still keep track of the things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So you keep track of your time on any kind of matter, any practice area, but then you can separate the matters into stages. So this is particularly helpful for our real estate practice, because you can set up whatever stages you want. And then as the transaction proceeds, you move the matter like forward into different stages. And so what we're doing now is we're having our paralegals manage that system and just update it constantly, because if it falls on Amy and I to update it, forget it. So by the time I get around to updating it, it'll take me so long to update it that it's almost not even worth it.
Right.
So we decided to move that responsibility to our paralegals so that they can take care of it. And so now they I know, especially one of them. This is like right. I said to her, I was
Oh,
like, this is
right
right
up
up your
her
alley.
alley.
Because
Mhm.
she's so like detail oriented, loves to check things off, loves a list.
Mhm.
So this is going to be perfect for her. And she's amazing at follow up, which I'm horrible at. So she will follow up. She asks me for things that she's stalking me for, and I'm not giving her. So this is going to be like perfect for her.
Perfect.
But it's cloud based, so we can access it from anywhere. And it's just a great way to manage. It's like a complete practice management
Yes.
system.
And there is the way that the one that we use there, it's like either a Clio Manage or Clio Growth.
Grow,
And
that's
there
different, yeah.
is Clio Grow is a whole separate system that they have or platform that they have where you can track kind of like lead based. And it's
It's
not
better for like a personal injury practice.
yeah,
that
that's what I
type.
was gonna say. It's more like for personal injury. It's just not something that makes a significant amount of sense for us right now, at least. But it's really cool. It's really comprehensive. It's built by lawyers for lawyers too. So
Yeah.
that's also really important for us because the people that are creating this and tweaking this and updating this from time to time are actual attorneys or
Yeah.
they have legal backgrounds, so they understand that these features are important.
Yeah.
And so we absolutely love that.
Yeah, that is, I think, our number one.
Yeah.
Clio is our favorite system that we use.
Yep.
But the next one is our phone system, and it's called Ring Central. Ring Central knows we love them to death.
Mhm.
Did we win a contest for them? They chose
Yes.
our video,
A couple
right?
times actually
Yeah.
for one something.
Because this, so everybody knows when I first went out on my own, I was working from home. So like I didn't have an office, I had this conference room that I was able to use here, but it was important for me to have a phone system that I could use, kind of a landline.
Right.
So it was important for me to have, a phone system that I could access from anywhere. And so when I had something else first, but then when Amy and I partnered together, I discovered Ring Central. And so we signed up for it, and it's literally like, it's a lifesaver. We love it.
Yep.
Now we do actually have desktop phones, but we have it on our cell phone. So when I'm out of the office and running all over the place, our paralegals can just buzz my extension and it rings through to my cell phone.
Yes.
So it's an amazing, amazing phone system, but it's not just the phone. We don't use Microsoft Teams. So we have our internal messaging system there. We have our phone system. You can text through there.
Mhm.
And I use that heavily with clients and especially real estate agents.
Yes.
So this system has been huge for us. Wouldn't you agree?
I would totally agree. You can send faxes through it
Yeah.
too. It saves your voicemails that you get from clients. It's just, again,
Send them to you by email.
sends them by email so that you get them to your email. So if we are in court and we don't see that somebody's trying to call us, or we don't get that message because it goes to our extension, we get an email about it. It just all around really does check a lot of the boxes for us for what we need for communication, because communication amongst our team members is also really crucial.
Yep.
And being able to communicate with them quickly. There are so many features, like you can drop documents into your message loop.
Amazing.
It's just, I use that feature so much more instead of like always having to open an email and send an email over to one of, our team members. I'm like, take a look at this. I just did that to you yesterday. Like, I take a look at this, like sending this over. Can you please send this out for me? And you don't have to like attach and then go into the email and download it. It's like none of that. It just takes away some of that, I don't know, all those extra steps that you need.
And this is not just like particular like for a law firm.
No.
Like, this phone system could be used any business that has employees, especially employees in different places.
Yeah.
That's originally why we loved it so much, because we were not in the office together. So it was an amazing platform for us to use. But even being in the office, like we're upstairs, Danielle and Abby are downstairs. So, we just message them. I mean, it's such a great, great system.
Yeah. And I can also get it. I don't know if you can get it on my car in CarPlay.
Yes.
It shows up as a little app. So like, that's where you've made it, right? Like if you're on there with like a podcast and like Spotify, like, that you've made it if you can see your little icon there. As my opinion, it's not professional, but whatever.
Yes, no. But we absolutely love the system. So that is number 2.
You have to talk about the next one though, because this is the one that you introduced and I was like, whoa.
So I started getting emails from this somebody that a title closer that I deal with a lot. And every time I got an email from her, I was like, Amy, look at her signature block. It's amazing. It's an electronic, it's a digital business card. So I was like, I need to know what this is. So I clicked on it because what was the thing we had been looking at that Joey said we should use, the thing on the back of the phone?
Oh, it's like the Dot, which is like a business card that you can actually have if you're watching the video. You can actually put it on the back of your iPhone. It's magnetic. So you could share your contact information with anybody by kind of like just like bumping them. I don't know.
Yeah. So we were looking for some kind of digital business card because
Yeah.
I feel like not a lot of people carry. I mean, we need them for court and stuff like that, but at least in my experience lately, not a lot of people are carrying like paper business cards. So I wanted something easy. So I clicked on it and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's called Hi Hello. So now Amy and I have our email signatures are this digital business card, but that's not even the best part about it.
No.
The best part about it is that there's a widget that you can have on your home screen on your phone, and it's like a QR code. So
Yeah.
all somebody has to do is open up their camera, scan the QR code and tap on it, and they save all your contact information.
It's amazing. And then when you actually on the back end, from an admin point of view, you can actually click on your business card or log into your account, and you'll be able to see how many times somebody has engaged with your business card. And I was blown away because I forgot about that feature. And then it was like maybe 30, 45 days after we started using it. And I went on and I'm like, oh my gosh, Laura, I have like 500 and something clicks on my email, on my business card. And I'm like, this is incredible. And you can, I think what they force you to do is when you click on it, you have to provide a little bit of information about yourself in order to see the full business card. So it's a way that like Hi Hello is also collecting some data. But what it's good about is that you then can figure out who that person is. And then there's a way to actually track, okay, I met this person at this event on so-and-so date. So not again, specific to a business owner or law firm, lawyers, but it's also really helpful if you go to like a networking event and you give your business, this digital business card out, and then they actually engage with it. And then you can be like, I met Shirley at the networking event and she works for whatever firm, or she has this business.
Yeah.
And you can keep that data. Again, I'm totally underutilizing it, but I think it's just brilliant to bring that to like a platform like this.
It's exactly what we were looking for.
And
how excited was I
when
I discovered this?
Laura would not stop talking about it. I was like, all right, we got to do it. No, but really, it also elevates. We've gotten so many compliments on our signature block because we have to have a lot of like notices and disclaimers and stuff in our emails. And it just breaks it up to just, it's part of our branding. It's part of
it
like
has our photo on it.
Yeah, it has our photo. It has our logo. It's just part of our firm.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really great way to just present who we are.
Yeah.
To people.
Love it. One of my favorite tools. And next is something that has been huge for us.
Yeah.
And I think it's the reason we've been able to build our firm and like kind of grow the way we have. And that is, it's not a software, it's not a tool, but it is such a huge part of our practice, and that's shared office space. Now, if you had come to me even 5 years ago, December is going to be 4 years that I'm out on my own, which is crazy. If you had come to me even 5 years ago and said, proposed something about shared office space, I would have said, what on earth is, like, what are you talking about? That's not going to work for a law firm. That's ridiculous. But when I went out on my own, I really had no choice because I didn't want, what did I need office overhead for? Right. I was by myself and I have an office in my house, but I needed a place to meet clients and stuff like that. And I wasn't yet doing a lot of real estate. So I didn't even know I would need this for closings. Right. So there's a building in our town, where our office is, but I started here just paying to use the conference room. And I didn't have an office. I didn't have any space here. And it really is huge because we don't have a long-term lease. As space opens up in the building, Jake, our office manager knows, like, office opens up, let us know.
Let us know because we need it. We're busted.
Right? But but it's been such an incredible opportunity for us to
Yeah.
grow without the stress of having to enter into a 3-year lease, a 5-year lease, because commercial leases are typically longer. So, this, I believe, is one of the biggest reasons we've been able to grow the way we have. Do you agree?
I agree. We've been able to grow to just really meet the needs of what we need it for. And remember, like, our practice really started at the height of COVID.
Yeah.
So we did not need to have a physical office space that housed us. Like, we needed to have an office, which we have, and we were able to use it when we needed it, but we did not need to have so much space. And so it's so crazy. Like, people think that we are so unconventional for doing it this way, but it worked. And it worked at the beginning of our business. And I think that's why we wanted to share it today, is because it is something to consider as a brand new business owner. Like, yes, you might have the dreams. I still know what Laura's vision board is for, like, what her perfect picture office would look like, right? We talked about it and we're actually like halfway there, but you don't need to have all of that, because that's not the stuff that is bringing in the money, the revenue, the clients, none of it. They don't see that until they walk through the door. So it's like, that's not a cost that is so crucial and material to you being able to grow your business. And for us, we actually saw that as a cost that would meet where we were, as opposed to us trying to always grow to fill the space that we had.
Right. So we've been strategic about, like, we didn't expand until we needed to expand. Like, we knew when I first started here, I had the use of this conference room, which I absolutely love. And then when we joined together, the first thing we got, remember, was that tiny space downstairs in the basement.
Oh my gosh.
We went from there then to something a little bit bigger. And then the 3 of us were in that small office downstairs.
Yeah.
And then as we grew, we would expand a little bit and then get another office. And now we have 4 offices and plus Abby at the front desk.
Yes.
And so, but we haven't done that, I don't think, at least irresponsibly, like
No.
just taking additional office space just to take it.
And that was the same thing with New Jersey too.
Yeah.
We expanded, and I will never forget this. Laura was like, go find something in Jersey that is just like this, because my real estate practice was starting to get really big. And I also really needed a place to meet clients that was not inconvenient. Like, New City's a half hour from where I am in Jersey. And so for me, it would be really convenient to have something close. And we have great colleagues that would totally allow me to use their offices, but we also needed something that we can kind of like establish ourselves. And we found this incredible shared office space in Woodcliff Lake, beautiful city skylines that sold us right away. And we were there for, gosh, it was probably like 8 months, maybe 8 or 9 months. And then we were approached to share physical office space with another attorney, another firm in Westwood. And that's how we ended up coming to find that location. But we don't need to fill that entire space right now. Like, and I think that that is something that business owners, especially when this is like your first business, can sometimes jump 2 feet in and jump headfirst actually into having way too much overhead when it comes to your physical space.
Yeah.
And not realizing that, like, you don't have to start out super big. And the nature of our work, yes, we're meeting with clients. A conference room is really important, but I don't need to have some big fancy schmancy office when I'm just starting out. To do what? To prove to what client, right?
Yeah.
It's just nonsensical. So it helped us really grow slow and steady. And now we feel like we have like a really good formula of where we are.
Yeah.
In
And
both
we also
states.
have a shared office space in Manhattan.
Yeah.
So that we use when we need to. And also one in Westchester.
Mhm.
So, it's the concept, like, several years ago was so foreign to me, but now I wouldn't do it any other way.
No,
Because
I agree.
like, if we needed to downsize tomorrow, we could just say to Jake, we don't need this one office anymore.
Right.
Like,
Right.
so it works for us, but we didn't expand just to expand. So I think the concept of shared office space, I think it's more common now.
Mhm.
But if you're especially a new business owner that like needs a place to go, but you don't need a ton of office space, I would highly recommend looking into a shared office space, because I really think it's one of the reasons we've been able to grow with it.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And so the next thing we want to talk about, we've spoken about before, is our marketing. So again, not a tool, but something that's a huge part of our practice and something that we outsource. And, I understand that for some people, you might, if you're in the beginning stages, might not have the money to spend on it, but do your research.
Yeah.
Because I can't even tell you how stressed out we were and how stressed out I was in the beginning about having to handle our marketing and putting us out on social media and coming up with all the doing graphics, all that stuff,
Yep.
and then trying to practice law
Yep.
and run our firm.
Yeah. And run a business.
I mean, it's just so much responsibility. And especially now, like the world has changed so much that when people, like you were just saying, like when somebody recommends a restaurant, where do you go?
I go onto Facebook or Instagram. Like I go on
Right.
social media to find those things. And so when we use the word marketing, I know that can kind of throw people off. Like I hear in the back of my mind right now, some of our colleagues that might be a little older than us that are like, I've never marketed one day in my life. I've never spent $1 on it. Okay. Well, what we're doing is building brand awareness
Yes.
for our business, and especially for the generation that I come from, even Laura, that you're coming from, and the generations behind the both of us. They are always on social media. So when you can go on to our respective Facebook and Instagram pages, you see Katina and Mara's pages are active, updated every day during the week.
Yep. We post 4 days a week.
We post 4 days a week with 1 day off in the middle. And that is consistent. And if you do any bit of research into social media marketing and brand awareness, you know that just being in front of people and consistently showing up is 75% of the battle. And so when people are like, oh, I love what you're doing and I love those videos, it might not be generating a client every single day of the week, but what it's doing is it's putting our brand's name out there. Our firm is a brand, and we are building it in a way that's reflective of us, and it's reflective of the kind of people that we're trying to pursue as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be said. And that's why, marketing, sales, advertising, those key terms can really throw people off. But this is more or less about putting your company out there in a way that people see what you're doing. And that's what we do.
It is so important. So when we decided to outsource our marketing, I can't even tell you the stress that was lifted off of us, because she creates the graphics. She does all that stuff that I am horrible at.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to worry about that.
Yeah.
We're trying to run a business.
And we do all of the content editing. We do all of that. The copywriting, as it's called.
Yeah.
We do all of that. So it's not like we don't have a hand in it, but we know where our strengths are, and our strengths, and we can't ask a social media manager or marketer to draft things the way that need to be drafted that an attorney would do.
Right.
And so when we work with her and she's like so amazing and gels with us so well, we tell her, like, we'll give you the copyright, you create the content, you publish it, you post it, etc. And it's the perfect marriage of what we need out of like this relationship.
To the extent that we're like, when we're posting legal content, like Amy and I are drafting all of that.
Yep.
But if we're doing like a quote, or she's, doing something for the podcast, like she can help us with that.
Yes.
But the legal stuff we do ourselves, but it's 1,000 times less pressure to have to just focus on that than to have to focus on the whole marketing system that we're using.
But ignoring it is not a way to deal with it either.
No.
So as business owners, it would be irresponsible to not move ahead with that kind of marketing.
Yes.
And then the last tool that we want to encourage is use of some sort of like a cloud-based system for storing your documents.
This is huge.
This is so huge. And I will tell you, dropping a footnote and telling you a real life example that happened last night when I got home after leaving the office way too late. And I get home and I realized that the draft, and oh, by the way, I didn't realize this. The counsel that I'm working with on a transaction reaches out to me and he's like, that agreement that you redlined, you didn't send it to me. You sent me the original agreement, and that I had sent to you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I attached the wrong attachment to an email. But what was I able to do? I was able to go on my phone, because I have the cloud-based system on my phone, and I was able to find the correct attachment and send it over to my adversary, for lack of a better term, so that he could start reviewing the red lines because he's in a different time zone than me. So he wanted them to review them with his client yesterday afternoon, and it was evening by us. So I was able to literally in 15 seconds send him what he was looking for without having to come back to the office and log onto my computer and get it out.
It really, so we need to be able to access our files from everywhere. And this is not what we come from. Like,
No.
I mean, I've been practicing so long, like this just was not a thing. Especially earlier on in my practice. I remember when I was at Wilson Elser and like, I think it was like 2005, maybe we had some program where it was almost like dial-up internet. Like you had to like log in and put in the password.
Oh my gosh.
and wait for it to connect to your computer in your office. I mean, it just took a lifetime. And when I went out on my own, I mean, at our old firm, we had an actual physical server that was in like the closet, whatever, in the office.
And we didn't touch it. We didn't even,
Right.
and by the way, we're not IT professionals. We don't know what that actually does or what the
Right.
benefits are. You should talk to one, but for our purposes, we like having the convenience of being able to access our stuff
From everywhere.
from trusted devices. I
Yes.
do know that much.
Yes, like last week when I was in DC, you know, I was working while I was there. So
Mhm.
all I needed was my laptop.
Mhm.
I had it with me at the hotel, and all I did was log into my laptop and all of my stuff was there.
Yep.
So it just, in today's world, I feel like it makes life so much easier, especially for us. We're constantly on the go. Like if I have to be home with the kids one day or whatever, we never, sometimes we never know where we're going to be. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I can do work from anywhere. So these tools are, you know, so helpful for us in running our practice day to day. So just to recap, we have Clio, which is our case management system, Ring Central, which is our phone system. Hi Hello is the digital business card that we use. And then we talked about our shared office space, outsourcing marketing, and then a cloud-based file management system. So these are not all, they're really the only one that's just for law firms is Clio.
Yeah.
So they're not all just for law firms. So any business can use them. So hopefully you will find these tips helpful. We thank you for spending time with us, and we'll talk to you on the next episode.